Hello parents and students, hope you're doing well. We're going to continue with our reading fluency. Again, this is weekly practices and continues throughout the whole year. Passages, some will be easy, some will be difficult. This is a passage that has a lot of vocabulary that might be troublesome. I'm going to demonstrate how to do a first read with your child, underline the words. Don't define the words or say the words until they've gotten from the beginning to the end. You can go ahead and read parts of it and ask them if they know the words. This is something that they cannot do on their own. This has to be done with you present, and you're actually helping them with the writing. Also, they'll be filling in their craft and structure and their genre on their own, and hopefully they've become familiar enough with some of the reading we've done in the past that they can do this successfully. Good luck and thank you. This is a very important part of our reading program. I appreciate you doing it. Good morning, students and parents. This is a first read. I'm hoping this is becoming more routine as we go on. Each week there'll be a different passage, but the way you approach the passage is the same each week. This is just another video showing a first read. For the first read, the student reads through from top to bottom, underlining words that they may have difficulty with, either in pronouncing or don't understand their meaning. So this would be a first read for a student. Black Hills Adventure. Jim had been on more difficult bicycle rides than this, but Custer State Park in South Dakota was still pretty let's see, they have a problem with this one. We're just underlining for now. Maybe they had a problem with Dakota, unless your name's Dakota. The rolling plains were a nice break after the hard ride from the Needles. His sister Barb had loved the rock spikes and the might have a problem with that one. View from the Black Hills, but it was the open plains that caught Jim's. These are all multisyllabic words. This is pretty much the beginning fourth grade reading, but some students are going to be having trouble with this. If they have trouble with it, then you pick out some smaller paragraphs that they can be successful with. But I'm going to take it from the top to the bottom. The grasses stood almost to his waist. They made a rustling sound in the wind that filled his ears, the way the endless sky seemed to make his eyes feel too small. This sentence starts from this T and they and ends with this period. This is a long sentence. As students go up in grade level, the sentences get longer. This is a fourth grade sentence. They have to read it from the capital to the period. So just, again, be kind of aware that this may be difficult for them, but that's what they're practicing, is reading. This is, now they may know this word as it sounds, but they don't know the word as it looks on the paper. If they miss it, we're still going to underline it. As they stopped next to a small stream, the hills ahead were dotted with big brown boulders. Let's ride up there. Barb agreed. The trail curved gently around the base of the hill, blocking the boulders from sight. They rode quickly along the trail. Then Jim came to a sudden stop. Those aren't boulders, he breathed. They're bison. Now, they might not know what a bison is. Just 50 yards ahead, the herd of they may be able to read this word. They may have difficulty with it. They may not know what it means. Herd of the massive animals roamed the hillsides. They couldn't pronounce roam, but maybe they don't know what it means, so we're underlining it. From a distance, they had looked like boulders. Closer, they looked gig. They might have troubles with this. This is close enough, Barb said. The bison were strong and wild-looking. She stared at their curved back horns. Let's get out of here. Just as Jim started to argue, this is a difficult word. They know what arguing means. We hear enough of that, but they don't know how it's spelled. So you might want to underline that. Two males started snorting and driving their giant foreheads together. Great clods of dirt flew in the air. Good idea, Jed said quickly. Yes, time to get going, like now. So these words get written over in the margin, right-hand margin. Incredible. So this may have this many vocabulary. And maybe over here, some of the words that they're having difficulty with, like massive and gigantic. Means large, very large. So the author used two different words that mean the same thing. This is very common in text. It's a very desirable trait to be able to write using different adjectives that mean the same thing in the text. So let's go over these words together. Dakota, strenuous, magnificent, imagination, incredible, exclaimed, bison, massive, roamed, gigantic, argue, foreheads. Now again, you do not want to tell them you do not want to tell them these words like I just went through. You want to describe them or charade them or use some other ways of getting them to break down the word into smaller parts. So a word like this can be broken down into sun and bison. They still might not know is a type of buffalo. Okay. So you work with what they can be, what they're having difficulty with on this right-hand side from the words that are in the text. And paragraph 3 here, this might be easy for them. They might be able to be successful with paragraph 3 if they're having difficulty in the other paragraphs. So start with paragraph 3. None of the words in here became any of the vocabulary, and then add maybe paragraph 2 and 3 together. 2 has incredible and exclaimed. Add those two words to the vocabulary as they read. This is a very fluid document that can be used to increase their reading and their vocabulary and their understanding of text at one time. The next thing would be to time it. Put the date, the time, your signature, and the words per minute they've gotten. And have them practice 12 times a week if they need to. We're trying to increase their vocabulary and their reading of complex text so they can improve throughout each week that they're in 4th grade, so they'll be ready for 5th grade. They made a rustling sound in the wind that filled his ears, the way the endless sky seemed to make his eyes feel too small. They should be able to read this sentence from the beginning to the end. I hope this helps. I'm going to show you in another upcoming video another few more techniques. I hope you aren't getting too confused. You can also review some of the previous videos. The techniques stay the same, the method stays the same, the story changes, but the method stays the same. Down here, I'm asking them to fill in their name, craft instructor, and genre, and they've had examples in previous passages. So up here, I'm not going to give them a clue of what to figure out. Obviously, their name they should be able to. The craft and structure and the genre, I'm hoping they're picking up from some of the previous reading that we've done. Thank you, parents, for doing this. This is the most important part of my class.